Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Sonder Social. I'm Malika. I will be leading you through your Sonder Social this evening. I'm dialing in from San Francisco. I just ran from the office. I'm also getting over a really nasty flu, so bear with me if I cough a little. Um, but I'm super excited for all of you to join. There's a ton of names that I recognize in the chat, so a huge welcome back to those who are returning, and a huge welcome to folks who are new. If you are new, please say I'm new or something in that vein so that we can celebrate you being here. Oh my gosh, welcome, Christina. Very excited to have you. And Meredith, yes, it counts if you started last week. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to have newbies join us this evening. And all right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm super excited. We have a lot of folks joining in tonight, which I love. And for folks who've known me for a long time, I love these more themed socials. They're my favorite because we really get to drill in together. We get to really unpack the theme. And I'm super excited to kind of do it together. All right. Sorry. We'll go ahead and get started. And for folks who are new, and just a reminder for those who are returning, make sure to set your toggle to everyone. Sometimes Zoom defaults it to hosts and panelists, so make sure to set that to everyone. And I also want to give a shout out to my co-facilitator tonight, Bailey. She'll be answering any questions you might have in the chat. She's giving you a big ol' wave. She's dialing in from Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm excited to have her with me this evening as well. So any questions, she'll be there in the chat. Make sure to say hi. She's fabulous. And we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Let's okay. Let's start off with the community guidelines. So, just because we do have a few new folks, just remember to be kind and courteous to yourself and others. No promotions or spam. Respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. Any product and accessory questions or customer inquiries can go to our team, hello at Silk and Sonder. And just remember, Sonder socials are a way to really get the most out of your journal and also really elevate your kind of your journey with yourself. And just remember that you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions, but it also really highlights the power of this community. And it is really special when we do these socials together because we really get to be vulnerable with one another and really share with each other. This is a safe space for everybody. So I'm really excited to dive in together. Let's start off with talking about this month's theme of awareness. So I always like to kind of start off by reading kind of the letter on page two. And something that really I really enjoyed reading that I want to reread for you all is the statement. So, awareness isn't just about paying attention. It's about remembering what always has been true. It's the spark that leads to clarity, joy, confidence, and freedom. And without it, we're just performing versions of ourselves we never choose. So just remember, like, when we're thinking about awareness, it's simply kind of noticing what's true for you in the present moment without really any judgment or immediate reaction. So it's kind of shifting from, your day-to-day autopilot to moving with more intention. So really seeing your thoughts instead of being kind of consumed by them on a daily basis. Recognizing kind of those patterns rather than repeating them. Really noticing kind of your environment and what's around you instead of unconsciously being influenced by it. And I think I struggle with this quite a bit. I think oftentimes I get, especially in my work environment, I tend to kind of let it consume me. And it's hard for me to kind of take a step back and really realize that no, I'm the center of this and I make my decisions and I have more autonomy than I realize. And I have some power in structuring my days to some degree. So, thinking about kind of what those intentional choices are, what do you really need in that present moment? And sometimes we often fill our calendars with all these things that we want to do and all these activities that we were excited about. But then you get to that day and maybe you realize, like, no, I'm self-aware. I realize this is too much for me. Take a step back. Like last weekend, for example, I was feeling like really overwhelmed with being sick for 2 weeks. I was traveling on a work trip. I just haven't really been sleeping, haven't been feeling healthy, but I was also feeling really, really isolated because there were days, and it was so many days without seeing a human. I live alone, I work from home, and I was sick, so I wasn't really going outside. And I realized like I wanted to do something. I was feeling good enough to go out for an event, so I did that on Friday, and then I had also signed up for a event on Saturday, but I realized my body just couldn't handle it. Like I just woke up and I was like, no, I need to be alone. I can't do this. Like I'm not fully ready, and I just decided to skip it. And that's okay, right? Like thinking about what you need in that moment is really what awareness is. So think of it as kind of turning the lights on, and nothing necessarily needs to change right away, but at least you can see a little bit more clearly. That's kind of how I like to think of awareness. I like that kind of analogy of like turning the lights on. So, enough of me talking about awareness. I will walk us through kind of the agenda for this evening. So we'll start off with the opening activity, and then we'll move into the awareness reset on page 16. And then we will finish with the awareness time capsule, and then I will lead you to the rest of your night. So let's start off with the opening activity. This is a fun one. It's not too intense, but we're going to do something called the permission slip. So, as adults, we tend to stop asking for permission and instead we start giving ourselves orders. So we say we should be more productive, should be more positive, should have it figured out by now. But right now, we're going to write adult permission slips. So, giving yourself a little bit of grace for right now. And it's silencing that inner critic that says that you're not doing enough. So find a blank space in your journal or a sticky note where you can write down 3 things to give yourself permission to feel or do. So here are some examples. And then here is kind of an example of a permission slip if anyone doesn't remember what those look like back in the day. Um, you can also structure it like this, but this is kind of an example of kind of your permission slip. So I'll give you all some time to fill out your permission slip. Just as a reminder, you'll write out 3 things that you're going to give yourselves permission to do or feel right now. All right, so I'll give you all some time and I'll see you in a minute. right. Thank you all for sharing kind of what you're giving yourself permission to feel and to do. I love reading through these little permission slips. Um, it's a great way to really kind of identify what we judge ourselves for and really making sure that we give ourselves a little grace once in a while because life is hard. Life is not easy. And I think especially as women, I feel like we are just our own worst critic. And I think it's okay to take up space and it's okay to rest once in a while. It's okay to not be perfect all the time. And I think we need to remember those things, and just remind us ourselves of that. Whether just given kind of how we operate often. So, thank you all so much for sharing in the chat. And we'll now move forward to kind of the next activity, which is the awareness reset. So go ahead and flip to page 16 of your journals here. And this is a great activity where you can kind of really pause and take inventory of your surroundings. So, really, I want you to, before you get started, I really want you to kind of start before, like, just don't rush into the list. I think oftentimes it's like, okay, see, feel, hear, smell, taste. We get it. It's your senses. But I want you to really kind of really think through this. And it's not about rushing. It's really about kind of arriving in that present moment. So maybe before we get started, maybe roll your shoulders back a little, take a couple breaths, and just let your nervous system settle for a bit. And here are some kind of guides as you're going through this activity. So rather than kind of just naming, as I mentioned, really shift that to more of like a noticing. So, and just kind of think about kind of describing what you're seeing for the first time for like that first line item. So for an example, you can see mine on the right here. So mine are like, the soft glow of a candle flickering on my coffee table. I did this activity at night, so the twinkling lights of the skyscrapers surrounding me, a cozy blanket draped over my couch. I have my crystals by my desk. That represent what I want in my life. And I also have my phone that connects me to the world. So, really identifying what is surrounding me. That's kind of how I took it. And then really invite curiosity and not perfection. So, there's no right answer. Like, ideally, I would have left my phone out of it because honestly, if my phone is the source of a lot of my anxiety because it's a constant to-do list. It's a constant reminder of all the people I haven't gotten back to or all my Slack messages that pop up on my phone all the time. So, thinking about kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect, but, it's all about kind of noticing what is in your surrounding. And also, kind of normalizing resistance. So if your mind keeps wandering, it's okay. Maybe really close your eyes and really bring back to your senses. And then really connect it back to your emotional regulation. So this activity is a great activity to step out of anxiety. I know that when I was seeing my therapist a couple of years ago, when I was in about like a little bit more of an anxious time in my life, this was kind of some of those activities that we used to do. So, really identifying your surroundings, what you're seeing, what you're smelling, what you can hear, touch. It's a great way to really be present in the moment and really get out of your head for a little bit. So, really highlighting the awareness and what's surrounding you. So, I'll give you all some time so to do this activity, and we will regroup in a few minutes. All right. I am loving kind of how we're noticing things. I love all the answers to smells. I think it's so funny, like smelling very different things. Currently, I feel like I am smelling wafts of my Thai food that I consumed as soon as I ran home from work before I joined this call. So I am also ready to hop in the shower after this and wash my hair and hopefully smell a little better in my hair. Um, but anyways, thank you all for kind of taking some time to do the awareness reset. It's kind of like a fun activity to really be present, really notice the things that are around you, and really kind of come back to yourself in the present moment. So, thank you all for partaking in that activity. We will now move forward to the next activity, which is the awareness time capsule. So I kind of broke this up. uh, I did four boxes on one of the slides and two boxes on the other side. So I'll probably go through kind of the four, and then we'll take a pause, have you all fill that out, and then we can go on the final two. But we'll go ahead and get started with the awareness time capsule on page 19. So go ahead and flip to page 19 there. And I really want us to really think about this time capsule as a snapshot of who you are right now. So this isn't like a wish fulfillment. This isn't a projection of who you want to be. This isn't a projection of, this isn't a representation of who you were a few months ago, but it's the exact version of you in this season. So really be vulnerable with yourself, really dig a little deep. It's not really about judgment, it's about awareness. So I decided, since I use ChatGPT for my therapist, um, I decided to kind of plug these in and ask them to tell me kind of what 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 represents me, because I struggled with this, and it's not easy to be so honest and raw, but I definitely agree with a lot of the things that it said to me, just given kind of what I've been navigating the past couple months, past like couple years, honestly, but really at this moment, kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of at this point in my life where I am just kind of taking inventory and being a little bit more intentional, or so I'd hope. Maybe it's also a way to recognize what's serving you, what's not serving you. Um, and it's really kind of all about kind of your current self. So thinking about where you are in this moment, and thinking about who you are right now. So for the first box, it's right now I'm most aware of. So think about this as what is taking up the most amount of space in your mind, body, or life right now. For me, it's really kind of, I've been dealing with a lot of issues in the dating department, and it's been a really tough ride so far. And I've been dealing with a lot of compounding effects of kind of maybe not being respected very well. And I think dealing with a lot of inconsistency and disrespect and having it happen so many times in a row has really kind of made me take a step back. So I'm trying to kind of regroup with myself and really remember like I can take a break and I don't need to do this to myself. And while I don't have much control over how others treat me, I have control and agency over what I tolerate. And so really being honest with kind of where I am right now. And right now, I'm just taking a step back and that's okay. So that's been something that's been really top of mind for the past couple months, and it's been really hard to navigate, but it is something that I am dealing with. And then the second box here is a habit or pattern I've recently noticed. So this isn't really about fixing anything. It's about thinking about what are those habits and patterns that I keep repeating. So I feel like with that, I tend to get attached to potential and the excitement. And I see the good in a lot of people, which is really probably a good quality to have. And it tends to serve me well because my friendships and the people in my life are really great and they're really wonderful. And I think that so highly of them. But with strangers who I'm dating, it maybe puts them in a shinier light than they deserve. And I think what ends up happening is there's just misalignment when it comes to long term and consistency and what I really, really want going forward. So that is something that I've noticed. A feeling that's been visiting me often. I would say that remembering that feelings aren't permanent, and thinking about what those emotions are that are showing up again and again. Um, and then thinking about kind of life lessons that the universe has kind of been teaching me. So, thinking about what those are, maybe thinking about kind of your readiness and things that are out of your control, but also being knowing what is within my control. So, thinking about kind of what those are. I would say a recent life lesson is expect the unexpected. I would say sometimes when you prioritize yourself, um, you realize like I think it's just a very I don't know. I realized like when I went on a work trip and I actually had a really wonderful time, and maybe it was getting out of my environment and really experiencing a new place, even if it was just a work trip, to really celebrate kind of life and expect the unexpected, being around new people, new cities, and give it really provided a lot of energy and a little energy boost. So maybe kind of making sure that that is something that I want to plan more, whether it be travel, to really get out of my head a little bit. So thinking about kind of what those lessons are and providing some insight as to what you really need. So I'll give you all some time, and I'm dying in the chat. I need to read through this while you guys are filling this out. But thank you all so much for bearing with me, letting me be super vulnerable in these socials. I love to share kind of what's going on in my life and how I took these prompts. But I will give you all some time to fill out your awareness time capsule. I know we all deal with so many life events in life, and there's so many different things that are top of mind for each and every one of us. So, really taking inventory of where you are right in this moment, wherever you may be, and I'll give you all some time to fill it out. And I'll check back in for the last two boxes in a couple minutes. All right, just checking in here. I'm gonna give you all some more time, don't worry. And I love what everyone is writing in the chat. But we'll now move forward with kind of the last two boxes here. So, the last two boxes are a truth I'm beginning to understand. So thinking about kind of something that you feel within your gut. And if it's true, even if you're still, growing into it, think about kind of what that is for you. And then a quote or a lyric that captures the season. Um, and I think these were really, really fitting. So that just in the realm of relationships and dating, that I deserve consistency, effort, and security. And anything less, even if it's exciting or even if you feel so much chemistry, and care in the moment, it's not enough for me anymore. So thinking about kind of those things as kind of the guiding light. And then a quote or lyric that captures the season. Not everything that feels good is meant to stay. And sometimes they're just lessons, and not everything that leaves is a loss. I think you learn something from every experience, everything that we do in life, you learn something from. So just remembering that going forward. So I'll give you all some time to continue writing, whether you're still on your first four boxes or if you've moved on to your last two boxes. I'll give you all some time to finish out your time capsules. All right. Thank you all for being so vulnerable in the chat. I know this activity is a little bit harder. It allows us to be really intentional and really dive a little bit deeper with awareness. And it's hard. It's not easy to look at yourself in the present. And Brenda really pointed out, she really likes the quote from the letter on page 2: choose what feels aligned instead of what simply looks impressive. And I think that's super important. I think oftentimes we try to do the things that we're supposed to do, but maybe taking a step back and thinking about, okay, what do I need in this moment? Like, my journey is different than other people's journey around me, and that's okay. And what is something that you want to kind of really think through and think about how you can adjust or change your sales accordingly. Or maybe you don't want to change, or maybe you want to take a step back, and you like who you are, and you just want to make sure that you make choices that make you feel good about yourself going forward. So I would love for you all to really share your pages. I want to thank you all for being so vulnerable. This chat was so beautiful. I love reading through all of what you say. And make sure to share your pages. If you feel comfortable, make sure to share your pages in Sonder Club. And I'll also make sure that I drop my link to my playlist here. One second. Share copy link to playlist. Here you go. And I just want to thank you all so much for the time, for spending this hour with me and Bailey. And I hope to see you at my next social. Thank you all for being with us, being aware, being with us in the present. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.